known for their long straights and one of the trickiest corner combinations on schedule. Tonight, we take on the Chinese Grand Prix. It's going to be a fun one. I know that a couple of guys say this is one of their favorite tracks out there. But man, I'll tell you what, I've raced it, and the first couple of corners even can get very, very sketchy. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. But if you don't know a lot about the Chinese Grand Prix, let's take a look.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. Good afternoon, everyone. We're here in Shanghai. The ever-tightening turns 1 and 2 will prove tricky in the slippery conditions here in Shanghai, and anyone that slides wide will lose a lot of time getting back on track. Turn 14 should still be the best place for overtaking, but we'll have to see some improvement in the weather before the drivers can take advantage of that DRS assistance.
All right, there's a little bit about the track. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a fun one. We have a couple of drivers on their outlap so far, and our weatherman slash driver, Sober David, says weather forecast is dry for qualifying. Race is also dry, but with a chance of rain at the end. And I can tell you, when I did some practice laps here, I did 3 different sessions. Every single session was a rain race. So the first time I saw this in dry conditions was in practice over the last hour. And I can tell you that we had 3 extremely fast drivers. Ferrari out there with a 131.6 in practice. Kerr was right behind him with a 131.7, and Polish Hammer with a 132.2. We'll see what they can do in qualifying, but it's definitely going to be close. RC, I don't know if you're in here yet or if you even have a copy, but I hope you're doing well out there. Let me see if you're in the booth.
It's another great day for racing, and we got some good times to try to beat this week. Going into the SnB side of things, Rangers in Season 5 set the fastest qualifying time with a 1:33.231, and the fastest racing time also with Rangers in Season 5 with a 1:34.800. Now, that has nothing on our in real life category, which was a 1:32.238 by the GOAT himself, Michael Schumacher.
Well, it seems to be that these lap times are already 2 seconds faster this season with the 131s that we are getting. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I can tell you, the softs on this track, undrivable unless you're just going for qualifying. A lot of these drivers were complaining in practice saying once you had about 3 laps on, it was already falling off about a second with 15% wear. So that's something I think that we're going to see these drivers avoid, is the soft tires. We're going to see them out there possibly on mediums. It's going to be the first choice. Hards, I would say, are going to be the second, and they're saying it's so bumpy out here. It is just chewing up tires. So we'll have to watch out for that. Snow Leopard, I see out there. Maddie, Racer Wreck, thank you guys. I know RC also said happy affiliate anniversary. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Snow Leopard says, no idea if the sounds woke up on my end, but I'll test them in a bit. They are turned off on this section. The F1 series, they are definitely turned off. So unfortunately, they will not work. But I maybe after this week, I will turn them back on. Her already at the top of the charts with a 131.480 Polish Hammer. 131.5. So these guys are extremely close. And right behind him is going to be Ferrari Nut, a 131.6. RC, I think we're going to have a close race. I mean, these guys are looking very, very similar in times. Z46, I was talking to him and he was saying, you know, I'm not very good at this track. It's just going to be one of those days where I just need to salvage as many points as I can get. We're not getting a win tonight. So we'll see what happens, RC.
Well, first of all, if anything if anybody knows anything about the softs, it's me, because they don't last that long. You can check back in the last race we had in season 6, and you'll see why I had issues. But anyway, the top 5, our usual top 5, they're going to be competitive. They're going to be a few hundredths of a second off from one another. We expect that. Some of them are going to taper off, like it's might be off a couple of, it just differs because it is China. It's not, it's unique in its own way with the first couple of turns going uphill, and it's a strong right-hander. So it depends on what you got your car set up for, but for Kerr right now, seeing that he's on the top pole, on the top spot right now instead of Ferrari Nut, I mean, that can tell you a few things about China for Kerr compared to the others. Now, there's still a lot of qualifying left, but this track can love you and it can hate you, and right now it's loving Kerr at the moment.
It is loving Kerr at the moment. In practice, though, it was Ferrari Nut at the top of the charts, so we'll see if he makes his way up there. He's only 2/10 off, so extremely close, but I'll tell you what, we just saw Leaf Justin go on to pit lane, and that is another tricky spot. I mean, pit lane is nothing to mess with, and if you have 2 drivers going around that section of the track, one of the guys are going to have to back off, because once you try to head in, it's just, it can get very chaotic. So I'm kind of curious how they will handle that also. A couple of different spots are, we have another one coming in here, JCX 1288, making his way into his pit box. But a couple of tricky spots is going to be Sector 1, turns 1 through 3. See if we can find a couple of drivers who are making their way out there.
We got one driver, and he's in Sector 2 right now. And that's, oh no, it's Shames out there on the lap. Well, J-Mac just now getting out.
Yeah, Ferrari Nut is on the end of that turn that I'm talking about. And you can see it right here. I mean, it's just a wide right turn, and then you're making a hard left. And if you're not careful, that turn can definitely catch you at the wrong time. And as I always say, turn 1, lap 1, it can be disastrous. So we're going to have to watch these guys as we start the race here. Woody, I see you out there. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you. I hope everything is going well for you.
Yeah, this is one of the tracks that I really love to race around, because it's not per se challenging Frozen, but if you do kind of take your mind off the track too much, it will punish you. So with some of the turns, like the first couple of turns in Sector 1, and then the big long right-hander coming down the back stretch, those are fun parts to me when I raced. It's just how you execute that time and time again is where it can either bite you or help you. So I know we say it almost about all the time, consistency is the key, especially with Formula One cars. But you just never take any track and just go, I'm just going to go for a Saturday drive, because they will bite you.
They will bite you. And we see Polish Hammer. He's going around that second section in Sector 3, and that's going to be turns 11, 12, and 13. That's another, a very drastic turn to the left, and then you're going to make an immediate right-hander around that corner. So another possible trouble spot, and if we get rain at the end of this race, it could catch some of these drivers off guard. So that's, again, another thing we're going to have to watch out for. But first, second, and third within 0.2 of a second. Mayor of Bag City 0.3 of a second from the leader, and then you have Z46. So these guys, we're going to see a lot of battling for the lead and for the win once again. And I need to remind you guys, Kerr won his first race of the season last week. So we'll see if he can't get it done again. I think he's got a great chance. He's looking extremely fast out here. And when he is on it, he is really on it, very consistent. But the start of the race will really tell us everything we need to know. Chloe, I see you out there. Evan is in the field tonight as Chargers. So great to see. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the points. Pete, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well out there. Ferrari Nut, he is in the lead in the point standings, 144, and Mayor of Bag City has 117. Her, after last week's win, is catching up to Mayor. He's sitting P3 with 115 points, 2 points behind Mayor. Polish Hammer has 97 points, and JCX, he is going to round out your top 5. The constructor standings are going to be AlphaTauri with 144 points. With Ferrari, they have 133. Mercedes with 116. Williams only 1 point behind with 115.
Whoa,
and McLaren is going to
hello.
round out the top 5 with 93 points. Polish Hammer, how about that? Getting the fastest lap out here. Let's take a look at that. 131.3. So he is going to leapfrog over Kerr.
I'm just wondering, where did that come from?
That is crazy. Pete, thank you again for the sub. I really appreciate it. Jason, I see you out there. Thank you, thank you. Maddie says, this is a fun track, but I'm scared to see the first couple of turns, lap 1. I'm with you. In Polish, he is looking good out there. He's consistent. He looks confident. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Well, I know this is me versus the AI, but I've literally had the AI, and I know they're not as smart as, real life players, but I've had the AI take me 4 wide in the first couple of turns before. That is scary, knowing that it tightens up there in turn 3. So you can definitely see some 4, even maybe 5 wide, depending on your racers. Who knows? Depends on your jump off the line, but anything can happen when it comes to turn 1. It's different, but it's kind of similar, Frozen, to turn 1 at Coda.
That's honestly is what it reminded me of. It's funny that you bring that up because that was my first thought. I'm like, man, that really reminds me of Coda. So very interesting out here. We saw 2 wide between It's Z46 and his teammate Polish Hammer, who is currently sitting on pole. Fastest lap in qualifying with just over 5 minutes left on the board. Meanwhile, Jacob X99 sitting P6 with a minute 32.1. He is in the lead for the minute 32s out there. Bloomy 132.5 and JC 132.752 with Skyland a 787. So he is right there with him. Stanton Drums in 10th. Hokie Fan currently sitting on the board. And 11th, J-Mac Attack of 133.2 in 12th. Leaf Justin in 13 with a minute 33.2. Oh No, It's Shames in 14th. Chargers in 15th. Rogue in 16th. And we have 2 drivers that have yet to make a lap, Dion and Sober David.
So, well, we've already passed our SnB best in qualifying, so that record's broken. We just need to go for that racing time now, which is kind of surprising. We've already broke the qualifying record in the dry, but we couldn't beat the qualifying record last week in the dry, and the record was set in the rain. So that statistic jumps out to me a little bit, but you can definitely tell that season 6 had a little bit of a drop off as far as that game goes in times and how just the game handled the racing and everything that goes with it.
Absolutely. And I'm kind of curious with the timing of this. Kerr, he's already on a fastest Sector 1 lap so far as he is in Sector 2. Just getting ready to come out of that, so I'm kind of curious, will we see another fastest lap time for him? We'll find out, but man, it is getting very, very close. See him, he's coming around 11, 12, and 13 on to Sector 3, the backstretch, and man, that's going to be a great passing point right there to make a overtake. What are the other spots that we're going to look at that you can do some overtaking?
So unlike, some of the other tracks we've been to where you just look at the front and the back straight away, you can do that here, but you can do it in turns 1 and 2. I think that's where you're going to see a lot of people do it. Sector 7, or it's not Sector 7, my bad. I don't think there's even that many sectors in there. I'm like, what am I doing, RC? But anyway, turn 7, there you go. That's the one I was looking for. That can be a risky one, but I think, if you're fast enough compared to the driver ahead of you where he's on like 20 lap old tires, I think you're fine to pass there. But if you get a good exit off of turn 11, turn 12, and turn 13, the big right-hander going into the backstretch is a good spot to pass. A lot of people try to pass on that little straightaway between turns 15 and 16. I wouldn't try that there. Not in our league, because people are going to be off the corner way better than any terrible AI ever could. So that's just what I'm seeing out of what we have here, and being around these racers. I think those are just your 3 main spots. Is your turn 1, turn 2 straightaways. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I can definitely see that. And I know some were saying that even by pit lane where that entrance is, some of these guys are going to try to make a pass there. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to see that happen. We see, oh no, it's Shames making his way around that very interesting corner, one of the most difficult on the schedule. But man, a lot of people are saying this is a really, really fun track to drive, but you have to be so consistent with it. And right there we see Shames go a little bit wide as he tries to catch it, and goes off the track a little bit, I think, to let maybe another driver go by him. But it is definitely going to be a challenging one. I'm kind of curious if we will see a few penalties tonight. I think it'll be possible.
Possible, because some of these turns, especially when you mentioned about passing it on turn 16, that very last corner, the car kicks out very wide. So if you still try to go too wide to pass somebody, your cars are going to knock at least one out of the track limits. So I say if there is passing like that going on, we will see penalties. I would disagree with that penalty, but I'm not the FIA. I don't make those rules. So I can see a few spots where penalties will happen, but I think we're going to have a fairly clean race today.
Let's see if we do. Time remaining 2:44, and Polish Hammer goes to the top of the charts with a 131.3. It's Z46, his teammate, a 131.474, with Kerr directly behind with a 480. Mayor of Bag City sitting currently P4 with a 490. These guys are so incredibly close. I really hope that means that we're going to see a lot of lead changes like we did the past couple of weeks. I mean, these races have been phenomenal. So I'm super excited to see what they can do. I think we're in for a great race tonight.
Now, we've talked about rain. Now, as an F1 driver, Frozen, when is that rain coming? Because if it's coming within the 5 laps, or maybe 7 or 8 laps, I'm not pitting, depending on how hard it's coming down. If it's just sprinkling, as we got a new fastest lap by Polish, a 131.208. Polish, what'd you put in your car?
There was a lot of talk of their wings. I can tell you, there a lot of discussion about front wings, back wings, you name it. What their strategy was, what their settings were, and a lot of it was hush hush. So very fun to watch it all play out. But man, Polish, whatever him and his teammate worked out, Z46 has greatly improved his time over practice, and these two are the fastest team in the whole field right now. So and it's going to stick. Polish is going to be on pole. Z46 will be second. Williams is looking incredibly strong as we get ready to start this race.
I think that's our first team lockout of the first two positions, if I'm not mistaken.
I agree.
And Williams, I mean, a great move to bring in 46. I mean, he's had great races. I mean, last week was okay, but he's making it up today, for at least as far as qualifying goes.
I want to say this is one of the only times you will see tonight that these drivers will be on the soft tires, but we will have to see. There's always somebody that changes the strategy, but soft tires are just getting chewed up out on track. It is so incredibly bumpy out there, and just after a few laps, the times are falling off greatly. So I think the mediums are going to be these drivers' first choice, and then possibly going to the hards. We'll see what happens. Like I said, there's always a few that like to switch things up, but man, I'm ready for this race. We're getting ready to go into the formation lap. Fingers crossed that we have no hiccups as far as the servers go. And RC, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but I'm seeing rain.
Yes, and I'm seeing my game screwing up already.
That is not what I want to hear.
Well, you'll have to throw me another invite. Okay, Codemasters, I doubt you're listening. But from an F1 fan, when I'm coming into a lobby that's already getting started, please put the spectator mode on there for me. That way I can go to spectator, not get on the track.
Ah, that'd be nice. We got RC back. You can see that rain is falling. I know from David, he was saying it was possibly going to happen at the end of the race. So hopefully this will clear up. But man, it is looking pretty rainy out there. Very overcast. So we'll see what happens. But Polish will be leading us off to green tonight. It's Z46 in second. Kerr will be third. Mayor of Bag City in fourth as these guys get ready to grid.
It's already raining, so this is going to be fun. But Frozen, there was one anomaly that I saw at the end of the qualifying session. Do you think you could find out what that might be?
That I do not know.
See, I really pay attention. The fastest lap that was set was in 5th place currently by Ferrari Nut on mediums. He was the only one on mediums, and he got
did see that.
place.
Yes,
so that tells you his speed, just in general, this season, which is absolutely amazing to put up that time on the board with mediums and not softs when the rest of the field's going softs.
Yeah, absolutely. He was in fact, the only driver on the mediums. Everyone else was on those softs. As RC says, it just goes to show you the speed that he has. It's pretty incredible. It's funny though, because Ferrari Nut, while he is incredibly fast, he was saying, going through the speed chart there, he was saying, how are you guys so much faster than me? He said he was like 9th as far as fastest goes on the straight. And I believe Chargers at one point was the fastest, which is when their talk of their wings and their settings for it came into play. So I think some changes happened, but Polish Hammer, he does get pole. Z46, who did not sound confident, he will be starting directly beside his teammate. And guys, lap 1, turn 1, so you know what we need to do. We need to watch out for that first couple of corners, and they are definitely tricky. We have rain out here, so it's going to get a little crazy, and we're going to have to wait for these drivers to get back in.
And everyone gets the great spectator of AI, because we got one AI car out there, because thank you, EA main menu. Anyway, so we'll see how fast regular player drivers are compared to AI every time AI is on here. But go ahead.
Here we go. drive-through penalty, but here we go. We are live for 28 laps here at the Chinese Grand Prix. Kerr already passes. Polish loses 2 spots. Not a great start for him, but Dion jumped the start here. So, man, oh man, here we go around the corner. The first couple are so sketchy. You can see these drivers trying to carefully maneuver around in this wet weather.
I'm sorry, my AI just jumped from 19th to 14th, so I'm kind of laughing over here. But wow, even my AI can get a good jump. Wow, I like that. Anyway, off my AI. This is going to be interesting here because you already got Polish in 46 falling down. Not the best to start, but rain conditions are very different. They call it the Great Equalizer for a reason, Frozen. So I don't think everybody was preparing for the rain coming into this week, but obviously, and it's still early, it's still lap 1. Maybe the different setup with Kerr and Mayer might be faster in the rain than Polish and 46. We'll find out, but right now they just got the better jump.
They did get the better jump, and I'm back here with J Mac Attack, who's getting ready to make a move over Stanton Drums, and we have RC action as his AI directly behind. We'll see if he tries it, but into the first corner, into that first corner as we see him making his way on by, getting ready to go past that start-finish line. Man, he really dove it in there. Kerr with the fastest lap in minute 46.3, and on to the front stretch we go.
So, Chargers go wide out of turn 16. You don't want to do that as much as possible because that will be a penalty. Remember, three warnings and then a penalty. So you want to make sure you keep it inside those white lines.
Oh no, it's Shames and RC's AI battling it out as they're trying to make their way out of the exit here, heading into Sector 2. But man, oh man, trying to deal with the wet weather on the intermediates and these tricky corners. These guys have their hands full, but Kerr, he is out to a nice lead, a second gap over him, over Mayor of Bag City. You see him in second. And then Ferrari Nut is going to be third. Polish Hammer moves to fourth, and it's Z46. He's going to be out in the top 5.
Do we have a teammate passing? We almost had one. 46 tried to get a pass on Polish Hammer, but he backed off wisely. That's not one of those turns that you want to risk it. But will he get it down the straightaway here? Now, DRS is not a thing in the rain for everybody watching. It's not a thing. So no DRS until it dries up enough. So it's all ERS from here, Frozen, until either it dries up or it just doesn't stop raining at all, which it looks like it's not going to stop raining at all from what the strategy is suggesting. But Kerr with the 140. Oh, nope, never mind. As soon as I say something, it changes. 144.013 from Ferrari. Now Ferrari up to third already.
Ferrari up to third, and take a look. We have Williams teammates right next to each other, and we also have McLaren in 6th and 7th. I say this every single week, and we were kind of joking about it before the race, but we were just curious. How far away from each other were these two drivers, Jacob and JC, going to be from each other? And once again, they are nose to tail pretty much. You can see them right there on the camera, the two orange cars. And then we have Polish, who's being passed by Z46. Nice maneuver by him. He's going to have Jacob now directly on him as he makes his way through these corners.
Just an amazing pass there coming off of that corner. I mean, it's not the most difficult turn to get that done, but it's not the easiest either. So, hat tilt for 46 there, getting that job done. Right now, it does seem like he's the faster Williams in the wet, so let's see if he can't gain any time on the top 3 drivers. You can see Mayor of Bag City around a second behind Kerr.
still hasn't really changed, so we'll keep an eye on these two. But Ferrari Nut, take a look at this. He is directly on the back bumper of Mayor of Bag City. We're going to see him try to make it through this left-hand corner, and we have a nice long straight to make their way through. Let's see if he can't make the move going into turn 1, but I do believe it's going to be a little too late to try to make that happen. But these 3 drivers are absolutely on top of each other, and here we go side by side. Ferrari Nut's going to be able to make that pass. Mayor falls back to P3.
Well, when I was talking about turn 14, Mr. Rogue missed it, and he ran wide, so there should be no doubt that he'll get a penalty for that. But pretty much everybody's right. Maybe like a slight gap in between each cars, but I mean, from what I'm seeing, Frozen, Sober David's pretty much got the smallest gap between, or biggest gap between each car. I mean, they're pretty much really close.
They are extremely close. Yeah, Mayor of Bag City, 0.7, and he goes into the wall, loses it coming off the corner. He's going to lose several spots. Z46 gains, Polish, Jacob, JC, Skyland, and Mayor is going to fall down to 9th.
The left side flap of his front wing has been damaged, so he'll have to come in, because that is no way you can drive that car in the rain. I mean, you can, but how much you want to gamble, that's the question. And I don't want to knock my tire off on a wall or something when I still can race, so there'll be no doubt that he should be coming in this lap.
And around this corner is when he can go in. He'll make a right-hander, and then if he decides to go straight, we know that he's going to go in. But man, oh man, pit entrance is quite wild, and we'll see if we can't get him going. Go.
Up to second, Curse pitting, so that makes sense. But he made a pass. Jacob made a pass between 46 and Polish, and I think 46 did not pit at the time. I have to look back at that. No, none of those were pitting at the time.
A lot of takers.
So that's an interesting pass there. Wasn't seeing that one.
9th through 18th, all pit. Ferrari Nut is our leader. Jacob in 2nd. Polish Hammer in 3rd. Very interesting. So let's take a look at what they decided to take. So yeah, these guys are going to go on the mediums. I figured that was going to be the most popular choice. As they say, it just dealt with the bumpiness of the track a lot better than the rest, and the wear wasn't as severe as the soft tires. So we see a lot of these drivers out there with that. Polish Hammer in 3rd, 0.5 behind Jacob. And you can see this weather is starting to dry out.
Now, the only problem is it dry enough yet? I think it is. I think we're just in that in-between stage of it's just really drying up now, and everybody's trying to get a jump on the rest of them. But that's something else that, I don't talk about as much, Frozen, is, between wet and dry, and when it's becoming wet or becoming dry after a rain session, that's the most interesting part, because that's when you go, okay, when am I going to pit? Is it too wet for me to pit, or is it too dry for me to pit? And that's what we're going to find out here. I mean, everybody else is pretty much going to come to the pits besides JC.
Yeah, I think we're
at least one more lap.
I think we're at the point where taking new tires and going into the mediums is going to be the way to go. Conditions are dry enough, and the drivers that did go out, they seem to be doing just fine. Leaf Justin is on his way out. Jacob, Skyland, Bloomy, you name it, these guys are on their way back out. JC will more than likely be coming in this time around. I'm curious if being a lap or two behind the other drivers that have gone in, will that hurt him? Meanwhile, Jacob, he managed to take hard tires. So very interesting choice for him, as these guys had to separate due to being teammates.
It's gotten really dry fast, Frozen. I'm watching JC. He's struggling out there on those inters, which means it's dried up really quick and is favoring the soft tires. So he's going to have to come in. And usually Frozen, it's anywhere between a 20 to 23 second pit stop depending on the track. Here it's roughly around 20-21 depending on if you hit your stall in time and release on time. So there's a lot of pit related stuff that might hurt or fit or help your placement. But Courage knocked that 11-second lead down to 6. So I'm not going to say that he's going to be able to stay in first, but I'm not going to say that he's going to wind up in 14th.
JC makes his way on in as expected. That will put Kerr into the lead with a minute 38.5, fastest lap so far of the night. Here he goes back to the lead. JC down at P4 at the moment. We'll see how much further he falls. Currently right in front of his teammate. He's going to continue to fall, unfortunately, as he's still in the pits.
Well, the McLaren drivers decided they're going to go on hards, Frozen. So let's see how that compares to the mediums. We are on lap 7, so they should work out. I mean, I kind of like this strategy, to be honest with you, because those mediums are going to give way before those hards do. But the question is, did they make that move at the right time?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how it will work out. From what I heard from drivers, even the hards were not the favorite for these drivers. I mean, they just still reacted a lot to the bumpiness of the track. They were not excited with the handling of it. The mediums, they said, were the way to go. So I don't know if they're going to use the hards now and then change to mediums later. I would assume that's what they're going to do. So hopefully that will save them some time and maybe come up with a better strategy than the rest of these guys. But they are the only two that have taken hards.
If I remember correctly, last season I took the hards at Monza. If I'm not mistaken, I took, 20 laps? I'll have to go back and look at that. 20 or so laps on hard tires through that race, and I just finished in the top 10 barely. Because Mayer had his whole... Either it was Mayer or it was Jacob, I can't remember. I have to go back and watch. Had the big comeback from the back of the field and passed me there on the last lap on the last corner. But don't underestimate those hards now.
You have a point.
In the right hands, they're really good.
They definitely can be pretty good. Dion gets a 3-second time penalty due to multiple warnings, so he is the first on the board with a warning, although we did have a drive-through. I think it was at the very start of the race for jumping the start, but her looking great. Polish got the fastest lap not too long ago. He's got Z46, his teammate, up about 4 seconds, so a huge gap between these guys, but take a look at the gap between Kerr and Ferrari Nut. That's a 4-second gap between these two drivers. That's a pretty drastic gap between these guys. So Kerr, if he can keep it consistent and do what he needs to do, he should be sitting pretty solid as we are on lap 8 of 28, heading into 9th.
You know, we've went, and this is one of the things that I love about F1 Frozen is the fact that we've went out of the last few races, an actual course in Qatar, an actual course in the Netherlands, an actual course in Coda, this race today, which is an actual course. Then we go on the streets next week. So now, after this race, you going into next week, you're going to have to change yourself up a little bit because it's a street course, not a circuit like China, Coda. You're going on the streets in Canada. So, get these laps in, get them all in, worry about, Canada later. But that's got to be creeping in some drivers' heads. I know it would be mine because it's just different. And until you actually get in there and learn the circuit from the street, then you'll understand where really I come from, where all the drivers come from, because they're just two different animals. And so this, keep your head in the game. But as a driver, I'm also keeping my head in the game of what's happening next week.
Yeah, you definitely have to keep in mind what's on track in front of you, but I can definitely see the difference in a circuit versus the other. And man, very interesting that you say that. I haven't really heard that so much. So what is the biggest difference for you as a driver heading into the different types of tracks that we see out here?
Narrowness. That's the biggest thing
That's
I
what
have
I would
about
figure.
street courses.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with this track, you can get off with a little bit of excess runoff. You're safe. Not at street courses. You smack a wall, okay, and it's not like a little love kiss. This is like full-on backhand slap, okay. The tightness of it, like we've got a lot of passing zones on this track. You don't get that in street circuits, so. Well, I'll say it like this for the NASCAR drivers. It's an oval for a street circuit of F1, or as a circuit in F1 compared to the road course of like a street circuit in F1. So that's what I would compare it to as far as NASCAR terminology.
Makes sense. Absolutely. I am on board with JC right now, sitting 12th, and so much action going on back here. We have Leaf Justin, who is leading this pack, J-Mac in second in this pack, and JC, who is third. Sober David, who is right behind him. Man, we saw these guys too wide, and just absolutely you could cover them with a blanket. Incredibly close racing. Really, really fun to watch, but man, oh man. We have quite a few groups out here. Let's take a look. Ferrari Nut is going to make a pass. That is going to be for second. It's Z46 going to fall to third.
I mean, I was just sitting here thinking, Frozen. I love, watching the NASCARs go off into the corners at like Talladega, and being like in the rear of the field and watching that. I love watching these cars go around any circuit. With the lines that they have to take, you've said it plenty of times, with the scenery that they have to go, or they drive through. And just the way that they come off the line. I mean, it's a madhouse at times.
It is a madhouse.
And that's just what I love about F1, a lot more than I can say about NASCAR, at least at the moment. Is yes, they're two different sports. Yes, I know in real life Red Bull is a monster that can't be slain right now, but I just love this more right now. Especially in those years where you could say, oh yeah, on the 5th of May NASCAR's going here, and it's been like that for 5 years straight. But just watching these cars go around the track, doesn't matter what part of the track, it's just poetry in motion to me. That's what attaches me to Formula One so much.
So the G's that you experience in these machines is absolutely unreal. I haven't experienced it, but I can tell you that I've experienced it in a stock car, and that is insane. And I know these cars are faster. You are able to turn at a higher radius a lot faster. So just the experience of it, I can only imagine how crazy it is in these cars. The lines that they take, RC has said it, I've said it before, absolutely beautiful with how they are able to maneuver around these and the lines that these cars create. You can see Jacob going for a pass over Skyland right now, unable to make it happen as he is on the outside, but what a huge battle. But these cars, a whole different beast. And a lot of respect goes out to these drivers in real life and on this game. A lot of fun to watch. But Justin, speeding in the pit lanes, 5-second penalty. Really unfortunate. Sky is still out there in 5th. Jacob in 6th. Mayor of Bag City, he's going to be 7th.
Leafs went in for the hards, so everybody else is on the mediums. Yeah, everybody who went for mediums, they're going to have to come back in sooner or later, Frozen. I don't see how those mediums are going to last for the rest of the race. So that definitely puts the hards of the McLaren team into question of when they made that decision a good one or not. So I think that this is going to be very interesting as far as strategy tire-wise. But I still think that we're going to see our normal grouping of the McLarens being fifth, 6th, 7th, somewhere in there. But right now, I'm just looking at the tire game frozen. That's what I'm looking at.
Now, do you think with Jacob and JC, how they were on the hard tires, will we see them go in again, or will they be okay for the remainder of the race? I can't imagine that they would be able to stay out this long, would they?
It depends on how much they're using their tires frozen, because if they're using it up trying to catch the guy in front of them, then they're going to lose that advantage of having the hard tires on. Now, if they're saving and they're not pushing too much into it, knowing, hey, you know, these guys are going to have to come in, we can stay out longer. We just got to take our time through here and hit our marks. Don't push it as much as everybody else is. I think they can stay out. I really do.
Interesting. I feel like they would have to go, and it's lap 13 of 28. Obviously, you know more about this than I do, but man, that is a long time to be on these tires, especially from what I'm hearing that it's so bumpy and it really eats at the tires. So I'll be curious to see how this strategy plays out for these guys. But Ferrari Nut, about a second behind our leader Kerr, and it's Z46. He is all over Ferrari Nut, putting the pressure on him. So I'm kind of curious how this battle will pan out. Ferrari Nut, he is only concentrating on getting to Kerr, and Z46, he's going to give him a run for his money.
Let's see. 1 lap older tires for 46. He's on 9 laps versus 8 laps. So not a huge deal, but a big deal as well, seeing that it's only 8 laps compared to 9. But I think he's going to keep it close here. DRS is available, if you haven't already seen that part. But lock up at least on my screen from Ferrari Nut. Ferrari just gotta have to hit his corners, and he's gonna have to hope that 46 is pushing his tires too hard. I don't think that's the case, Frozen, because I mean 9 laps versus 8 laps, they're pretty much on equal playing field right now.
I would think so, yeah. Ferrari Nut, he is slowly closing that gap. He's at a 0.8 right now. He was at a 1 second just a couple of laps ago, so he is slowly dwindling that down. But Z46 staying on board with these guys. Meanwhile, 46, his teammate at Fort Williams, Polish Hammer, about 5.5 seconds behind, so Polish has definitely fallen off. But Kerr gets past for the lead. Ferrari Nut is going to take that over. You can see it right here. A great pass on his end. Kerr going to fall to second, and that's going to put Z46 still in third, but he is going to try to make another pass happen as he tries to get to Kerr.
Great pass. I was wondering if Ferrari was going to make it, because by the time that he was really gaining, I thought it was kind of too late, but he made it work. So congrats to Ferrari. He made it work there. But Polish is in the pits again, so he's going in for new tires. It's going to be about who is going to mess up, I think, here in this top 3. I think they're going to stick very close together, even in the pit cycle. I think it's just going to be who screws up the turn first. I think that's what might decide this winning battle. But my chips are in on Ferrari right now. I mean, the fact that he's come up the field to be where he is right now in the rain and in the dry. My chips are all in on Ferrari right now.
He's got 3 wins so far this season. Kerr winning last week at Coda. Ferrari's last win was at the Dutch Grand Prix 2 weeks ago. extremely fast here. We did see a little bit of brake locking up on him earlier on in a couple of turns ago. We'll see how he does, but Kerr is still hanging in there within a second. But Z46 really closing in on Kerr now. These guys kind of going back and forth with the lead, but the next person in line is going to be Jacob. 17 and a half seconds back. That is a huge gap, so these guys really only have to worry about these two around them. That's all they need to do. Just worry about consistency, worry about where these two are going, and if they mess up, try to capitalize on it and stay out of trouble.
I picked something up just now, Frozen, is the fact that Kerr did not get DRS coming through the front stretch. So if I'm 46, I'm sitting here realizing, hey, he didn't get the DRS on the front stretch. I need to get around him now.
Why would he not get it?
Ferrari's going to keep taking off. So I need to make this move as soon as possible.
I agree. You can see him about 0.5 back, but Kerr is slowly losing Ferrari Nut. A second and a half almost at this point. So it is getting to the point where RC is absolutely correct. He's got to make a move over Kerr. If he wants to make this happen and get on this podium into second, he's got to make something happen, and he's got to do it soon.
That wing's open. Here it comes.
Is he going to be able to do it, though? He doesn't have enough.
Nope.
He gets on his back bumper, but it will not be enough. He still stays in third. He's got another chance to try it as we're making this left-hander onto the front stretch. Here we go.
Well, that's not how I like to see positions change, but it happens.
Hey, it works too. It's a position made. Kerr goes into pit. I think a good call for him. Lap 17 of 28. If you're going to pit, might as well do it when things are not going exactly as you hoped or something is not working out. Make that stop and see what happens from there. He's on those hard tire compound. He will come out losing a few spots. Polish Hammer. A minute 34.7 fastest lap once again tonight. These guys are absolutely flying. Incredible to see. Kerr comes out. He's P5. D46 moves up to second. Jacob 18 and a half seconds behind, sitting podium finish at the moment. Sky having a solid night, sitting P4.
I mean, it's been a great race all in all so far. And right now, as far as I'm looking at, is Jacob right now with those hard tires on. Everybody's getting on them sauce. How is he going to stack up now? Because he's in the seat that I'm going to guess that they wanted themselves to be put in. Where is he going to lie in this order? Because you got Kerr that's got fresh set of mediums, and you got the guys pitting. So if anything, it should be great for Jacob, but he's going to have to keep those tires together.
Kerr makes a move over Sky, moves up to fourth. Polish just made a move over Sky, so that's going to move him up to fifth, and Sky falls to sixth. But these guys are definitely on the move. Our leaders going into pit. We also have Jacob and Sky. They are pitting. Kerr is going to move up as he has already made his stop. Let's see if he can't take over the lead. Ferrari not going to be our leader here. Directly behind will be Kerr. These guys incredibly close. Cowboy, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Affiliate anniversary. How about that? Kerr. He is all over Ferrari Nut. Will he be able to make that pass? Heading into Sector 3. A very short straight as we get ready to make a hard left-hander and then a quick right-hander. Then you'll have a nice
Right
stretch to make a
now-
pass.
So right now, Polish is holding the record at the moment for the fastest lap in the race with a 1:34.620. Let's see if anybody can beat that. The way everybody is as Kerr passes Ferrari Nut for first place. I think it's got to be one of these two up front for us to beat that record. But I think they're going to be too busy battling each other for the win than focusing on a record. But we'll see. You got to put your eggs in the basket here and go for it.
We have Williams drivers right next to each other. We have McLaren. We have Mercedes. These guys very, very close. I should say, yeah. Williams, McLaren, these guys so close once again, back to back. So, man, teammates very, very close out there. And you can see Bloomy and Hokie, another set of teammates. Justin and Dion, another set of teammates for Aston Martin. Everyone just incredibly close, but Ferrari Nut still hanging in there. Just under 0.4, 0.5, I should say at this point. But man, oh man, on top of each other. Lap 19 of 28 still. Quite a bit of racing left to be had, but it is extremely close. Now, my question is, RC, we have Z46 sitting P3, 2 seconds behind. With the battling that Kerr and Ferrari Nut are about to do, will this allow Z46 to catch up as we have another switch for the lead?
So with the front straightaway, that's not as simple as it might seem. Yes and no. It is when they're side by side, they're slowing each other down. But once they get past one another, that's when 46 is out of range of anything because they're slipstreaming each other. So he's really going to have to make up the time between turn 1 and the backstretch in order to catch up to him. That's the key part, not just the straightaway speed, but the corner speeds in the first to second sector. That's where he's going to have to catch up.
And he is definitely closing that gap already. Several tenths so far as Ferrari Nut and Kerr are making their way around. He also just got the fastest lap of the session. Meanwhile, his teammate Polish Hammer 2.6 back. And then fifth is going to be Mayor of Bag City, 17 seconds back. So this race is really between 1 and 2 and then also 3 and 4. See if third and fourth can't catch up. But Z46, look at this. See if he can't catch up. RC, he's already here.
Yeah, here we go. It's only going to be a matter of time.
Larger
As
3
Chargers
second time
gets a
penalty.
3-second penalty.
2 drivers on the board with the penalty, and 1, 2, and 3 directly next to each other. Ferrari Nut leading the field. Current second, 46. It's going to be P3.
46 has already got that DRS, so you know he's definitely in range now going into turn 1. So he needs to get that Williams really a-rocking here in this section of the track. Because those Williams cars, being from the Williams camp, is very fast in sectors 1 and 2, Frozen. That is a no-joke scenario when those Williams cars hit the track. They're also fast on the straightaways, don't get me wrong. But the cornering sections are where they thrive at.
Looks good. He's got a very aggressive entry, but it looks like Ferrari Nut and Kerr are a little bit better on the exit, and that's going to give them the long speed on the straights. So we'll see if 46, if he can't kind of tone that down and try to get the momentum coming off the exit. You can see him diving it in there, trying to catch up. But it looks like on a couple of parts, Ferrari Nut and Kerr are a little bit quicker coming out of exit.
Well, there are 2 real-life drivers who are aggressive, but they fix their exit out of the corners. Both of them being, one of them being Max Verstappen, and the second one being, oh, what a pass selection there. I figured he'd go into the inside, not to the outside like that.
Man, I'm kind of wondering if he meant to do that. That was so aggressive, a great move to make it happen as he goes into second. But man, oh man, he really dove that in there.
Car dialed in right now. But like I was saying, aggressive drivers in real life. I mean, Michael Schumacher and Max Verstappen, the last two aggressive drivers, and look what they've accomplished. So aggressive corner entrance is not that bad of a thing in F1 Frozen. You just got to refine that exit.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
That's what makes the difference.
Absolutely. And we just saw his aggressive move work out for him. No damage for either car, and he takes second place. And Maddie says, ooh, that was scary. It certainly was. Very close call, but here we go. And this is coming from Z46, who said, I'm not confident tonight. I don't have the car, and here he is. It looks like he's about to make a move over our leader, Ferrari Nut. He is right on his heels, and yeah, I think he is going to absolutely try to take over this lead.
He's definitely going to have it here. I mean, that would be definitely risky if he took it on that corner for sure. But
No, he dives it down low.
That far from non-possible.
Side by side, he does it. He takes over the lead. Ferrari not going to be in second, Kerr in third. The race is far from over, though. Lap 22 of 28 as we head into 23. There is still several laps to make something happen. We've seen last turn passes even for the win. And Ferrari Nut, he is not going to let this stand. He is all over, being as aggressive as he can to be on the back bumper. Really keeps it low. He's got that tire there. Has to back it off. He's going to stay in second for now.
So the good news for Ferrari is they're both on 5-lap tires. For Kerr, he's kind of a... I'll start saying this, Frozen. Kerr right now on tires is a pinky toe behind. Okay? Because he's on 6-lap old tires. But Kerr, just because he's got those 6-lap old tires doesn't mean he can give up here. He's going to have to push that Mercedes in the same turns as 46 did. He's going to have to keep that pace up and not just relax a little bit here. He's going to have to really kick it if he's going to try to be there in the last few laps.
Now let's not count Polish out. He is almost 7 seconds behind, but he is slowly closing that gap. You can see him as I was on board with Kerr. Behind him, you can see, so that Williams, he has not given up, but Ferrari Nut has passed Z46 for the lead. He's going to take that lead back over Z46, P2.
Straight away. Let's see how 46 gets off this curve.
Here he goes. He's got huge run. Ooh, he decides to back off.
Wise. I mean, you can't expect Ferrari to be like straight in there and then cut him off. I mean, you're gonna have to be somewhat predictable in passing situations. So I respect that move from 46. Just go ahead. I'll have that straightaway DRS zone. Just stay right behind him as much as possible, and I'll get the job done.
Ferrari really locking up those brakes, especially in that corner. I've seen him done it multiple times. Real, what's
I'm seeing
up?
The smoke.
Yeah, absolutely.
From Ferrari, and I'm starting to get worried.
He's done it several times.
He's doing.
I think we're going to see some tire wear from him, which is possibly why he hasn't been able to get away as much as he has in previous races. But I have noticed this from him in the F1 series. He definitely locks those brakes up. And we have a 3-second time penalty from Rogue. So the final 3 drivers, all with a 3-second time penalty. Real, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Affiliate anniversary. Crazy. All right, we got some traffic happening here, RC.
Getting back up there on that traffic. We got the Red Bull. I think it's drums that they're passing up. No, Chargers. My bad. I'm sorry. I did not see Chargers there in 18th. But, yeah, I mean, I agree with you about the whole ghosting thing. I don't think it should be a thing.
I agree.
As Skyline gets a 3-second penalty. I think, you know, for people who wanted, like us, who want to do league racing, I think it should be an option for us to not have those lap cars ghosted out. Make it more realistic,
Right.
as possible. AI, like my AI out there, which is doing great, 15th. Great job, AI. I get that one. I get
There
the
you go.
ghost on the AI, not the players.
We're kind of falling back here, almost at 2 seconds. Polish Hammer, 7.4, so he has fallen back. Mayor of Bag City, sitting currently just under 14 seconds behind Polish Hammer. Caution in Sector 2 as these guys are making it through. But Ferrari, he's starting to get away a little bit. We'll see if Z46 tries to make a move as they head onto the backstretch. Leaf Justin left the session.
Oh, that sucks. The AI is still in it, though.
The
So I'm
AI is
wondering
still
if
in
it's
it.
a connectivity issue.
You know, I wouldn't even be surprised. I'm surprised more drivers haven't been kicked out. The EA servers have been, no offense, but they've been awful lately.
You will find no
46.
disagreement here.
0.2 behind 0.3. We'll see if he can't make a move, but we do have a car up ahead. It's just so distracting. If I'm the driver, you know, you don't want to make a move when you see some traffic up ahead. But then again, they're ghosted. But yeah, I would be very distracted.
At least they don't do the whole NASCAR heat thing where they like rubber band.
That's true.
So I'll give them props on that. But
Look at that checkup again. Ferrari not really testing those tires and the brakes. Kind of curious. 26 of 28. I don't know if it's going to affect him as much as I thought it would. They're both on 8-lap-old tires. Kerr on 9. 2 seconds behind, but Ferrari not really going to have to watch that.
yeah, I think Kerr gave it all of his tires could give him. I think it's just a little too late for him. But P3, it's a podium spot,
Podium
so I would
finish.
take that.
Yeah, absolutely, any day. Z46, I'm impressed with him. He's put together this race. He's had a lot of different things happening in the previous races. This is only, I think, his third race he's been here. The first race, didn't get the fuel in correctly, ran out of fuel, didn't get a setup in. So this time it's come together, and this is at the race that he said he couldn't get it done. He wasn't fast enough, yet here he is.
Okay, so when he says that, be ready for him to try to win the race.
Oh, he's definitely trying. I mean, he is all over Ferrari nut once again. Lap 27 of 28. It's now or never. I mean, he's got to make it happen. He's got one final chance the next lap, and we're going to bring it home.
If I'm 46 right now, I need to keep up with Ferrari as much as possible. If I decide to stay in second place when we go to lap 28, backstretch is where I need to be. That's where I'm going to pass him. That's where I'm going to win it from.
I agree.
Because a lot of F1 tracks are kind of like Talladega. Where you at when you get towards the finish line? And when do you make your move? I think that would be 46's move, is the backstretch last lap. Now let's see what he decides to do here. Maybe he passes him, maybe he doesn't, but
I wouldn't.
That's just what I would pass.
Yeah, I'm 100% agreement with you. I am not passing him right now. I am just staying on the back of his car. I am not going to let him get away. And then come the final lap, I'm going to make sure that I am right there so that I can pass him up and take that win home. And this will be his first win of the season with us if he can manage to get it done. If not, Ferrari Nut will bring his 4th win of the season home.
46 got this win on only 3 races in his F1 SnB season.
Oh, he was trying to test it out, RC. Taking a little peek on the inside, going into turn 1. But yeah, how about that if he could get that win, just the 3rd race with us. I do believe it is 3rd. I will have to confirm that, but that just goes to show what kind of driver he is. And we've seen him be aggressive, but he's also been extremely smart. We've seen him back off when he knows he can't quite get it done safely. He doesn't want to ruin his race. He doesn't want to ruin another competitor's race. So he's doing it very safely and smart. He's so far a really great driver.
Here we go. Here's the fun part.
I know. I'm on the edge of my seat. What is going to happen? Can he do it, RC? Let me know. What do you think?
I think he is. Now, I'm watching the TV pod view, and I'm looking at the ERS. That concerns me. Let me look at... Oh, yeah. Oh.
I don't know. He's breaking that draft.
Yeah.
Here he goes. I don't know if it's gonna be enough.
Me, Frozen.
Yeah.
Send it. Send it. Send it.
He's gonna have to send it. He sends it. Contact with the tires. They are just fine. We're gonna go around the final corner to the left. Doesn't have enough to get it done right there. Will he have enough this time around?
Nope.
This is it. Ferrari Nut will be your winner here.
Oh, so
man,
close.
Great race. Absolutely phenomenal job. Ferrari Nut brings home his 4th win of the season here at the Chinese Grand Prix. Z46 gets 2nd. Her brings it home. Podium. Great job for these drivers. Let's get them in here.
Ferrari Nut took that outside line, which was the ultimate winner on that one, Frozen.
That was crazy. What a wild race. Ferrari Nut, we see you out there. What a fabulous race by you tonight. Just close all the way around. Battles left and right. Different strategies. We saw some guys going on the... Only actually 2 guys starting off on the hards once the rain cleared. But what was your strategy? And did the rain kind of sneak up on you at the start of the race?
No, we all kind of knew it was going to be there at some point during the race. It didn't show it as being right at the start, so that was obviously totally wrong on the game's part. But if anything, that helped me in the early stages. Once I kind of got a feel for the grip level, I was pretty easily able to side through the 4 guys in front of me and get in front of everybody. From that point on, it was just throw on the mediums and go until about 10 laps to go. Throw on the set I finished on is actually a used set, because I did the 1 lap on them in qualifying, so I was a little bit at a disadvantage because of that. But no, it just kind of seemed like my car held the pace a little bit better when the tires started to fall off than Kerr's did. Z was pretty close. He kept me honest, so good race there to the finish. He almost he thought he had me into that hairpin. I wasn't sure how deep he was going to go, so it was a close one, but fair.
It was definitely a close one. Were you expecting that move, considering it was the final lap, final couple of corners?
Oh, yeah. 100% was expecting it. 100% was expecting it. You saw me probably try to break the toe a little bit at the start of the straight and just try to put him at as much of a disadvantage as I could.
All right, we saw you a couple of times also locking up those brakes quite a bit. Now, I've seen you do it at other tracks also. Does that affect your tire wear as much as I think it would? Because it doesn't seem like it does.
Not really. No. Not really, no. It's just it's something the game does. You're locking up, but you're not locking up. It's a little bit silly. It's mostly on the rears, and it actually is... You can actually rotate the car a little bit better into slow turns, like turn 6 and the hairpin here at the end of the back straightaway. If you have that happening, you can kind of rotate the car a little bit on the entry and carry more speed through the corner. So it's tricky, but if you can get it balanced right, it works.
Fair enough. Great battles throughout the night for the lead and 4 positions throughout the field. You did a great job. 4th win of the season, so a huge congratulations to you. Next week, we have the Canadian Grand Prix. What do you think about that?
I think that's going to be a good one for me. I typically like Canada. It's always been a good track for me. Just got to keep it out of the fences and off the curbs a little bit, which I didn't do a great job of keeping it off the curbs tonight. It was kind of costing me a little bit under driving the car. But next week should be good. So I definitely need to brush myself up on that one. Just kind of get myself back in the rhythm of that place.
All right, well, we'll see how it goes. A huge congratulations once again. Great race. All right, RC, we have Z46. We've said it. He's only been with us for a few races. Let's go ahead and give him an interview for Podium.
46, a great race. You come home second in race 3 since you've joined us. And you set the SnB fastest lap at China with a 134.070. Take me through your race and everything leading up to the second place finish.
Honestly, through that first stint on intermediate tires was pretty sketchy, as I have a low downforce setup as it is around here, so I was bleeding a lot of time to those guys. I was just kind of hoping it left as quick as possible. And it did leave pretty quick. It was about, I think, 5 or 6 laps in, if I remember right. But yeah, getting off of that intermediate as soon as possible was very big for my race. So I was able to keep with Ferrari net. I think if I had pit the same lap he had, I don't think I would have finished second, at least. I think the podium was still on. But yeah, the plan all the way through was just to throw that double medium on. I knew that Ferrari had one medium with a extra lap. So Pricey didn't put that one on first, so he had that better tire at the end, but it worked out for him anyway.
Started second, you finished second. Williams was looking great. You're going to your first, air quote, street track in Canada. How are you going to get yourself prepared for Canada and what that track's going to throw at you?
Honestly, for me, just making sure I have a little bit more grip in those low speed corners, because there's a lot of them around Canada. It demands a lot of grip from those tires. So just making sure I can get that setup nailed and that I have enough practice in to where I'm not going to get caught out too bad, especially near that wall of champions, because one mistake and you're straight into the wall. But hoping for another podium there. Don't know if I'm going to be as close for the win as I was here, but here's to hoping, at least.
So far, it's been a great story for what you've put on the track with only having 3 races. I can't wait to look forward to see how the rest of the season winds up for you. So good luck in next week's race, and hopefully we'll have you back in here for podium interviews. Frozen, back to you.
We saw you win COTA last week for the first win of the season. Tonight, you're bringing home another podium finish. A great job out there. How was your car? How was your race?
Started off good. I was looking forward to the rain. But as we got more into the dry, didn't quite have that middle to end pace. I could slightly keep up there at the start, but I kind of knew pretty quick it was going to be tough to, let alone keep them behind me, let alone keep up with them. So I'm happy with third. It's good pace, and generally not a good track for me, so we'll take the podium.
I mean, for not being a good track for you, yeah, third is awesome. You look great out there. You look consistent. I feel like you were a little bit stronger, as you said, in the rain. So interesting to see how that all played out. But Canada, how you feel about that?
It's a touchy one, There's a lot of walls around that track, so but we'll I'm sure we'll all fight for second behind Ferrari, so it'll be fun.
The battles, though, have been absolutely crazy these past several races. Really fun to watch, and I just want to say again, the talent in this league is insane. Really fun to watch all the battles, and you guys going 2 and sometimes 3 wide. Insane, but I'm enjoying it. I hope everyone else is also. Next week, we do have the Canadian Grand Prix. I hope you can tune in. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it, and I know the drivers do also. Same time, same day is going to be Wednesday at 8 p.m. We'll see you then. Take it easy, guys.